Hello there, my name is JD from Studio 2105. Welcome back to MixStream Online and another episode of Weekly Update Wednesdays. In this week's video, we're going to be taking a look at a bunch of questions that's related to vocal recording and mixing. How's everyone doing out there? I hope all of you are doing well, staying safe, staying healthy. I know that in many countries around the world, not only here in Malaysia, even in our surrounding neighbors in the Southeast Asia as well, we're not doing too good. We're still in the grips of COVID and under lockdowns in our various countries. It's been getting bad. It's been getting increasingly worse, and there's so many issues surrounding politics and all that nonsense and bullshit that go around. In the midst of all that, hopefully all of you out there are still making music, you're still writing songs, you're still doing what we love to do. Let's not think about all that. Let's focus our attentions to what we love to do. That is, making music, making records, and the entire process that goes on behind that. So with that out of the way, firstly, I want to welcome, if you are new to this channel, a warm welcome to you. Do consider to become a subscriber. If you haven't done so, click on the subscribe button. Don't forget to also click on the bell so that you'll be updated every time I put out a brand new video. Speaking of brand new videos, I just put out one on Monday, and this is the second video that has come from a good friend, Afiq PB. This is the second video of the Sesi Bersama Afiq PB series. Do check it out. Afiq does a little reaction and a little bit of a short video sharing his opinions and his thoughts on the role of a sound engineer versus a music producer. Do check out that video. Do sign up for the email list, and if you want to support the channel financially, head on down to www.patreon.com/studio2105. Every bit of a contribution and your support really helps to grow the channel and the creation of content such as videos like this. Thank you very much. Alright, without further ado, let's head on down to this week's featured questions. Question 1. Why is there distortion when I sing loud, close, and on axis to a condenser mic? The input meters don't show any clipping and the levels are healthy. Great question there. Very likely what's happening is that you are overloading the mic capsule and causing distortion in the circuitry. Now, condensers are very sensitive, and some models can handle high SPL, sound pressure levels, as well as others. I would say that usually those that don't handle high sound pressure levels really well are gonna be mics which are towards the more budget end of this whole spectrum. But having said that, there are some mics, even a Neumann U87, for example, is not going to be able to handle extremely loud sound sources. If you are a loud singer, if you are in the more aggressive style of music, sometimes the vocal can actually get incredibly loud. You'll be surprised. I would start by backing off from the microphone. You want to aim for around 6 to 12 inches from the mic capsule. This also will reduce the proximity effect, which is the bass boost. This bass boost, if you go really right up to the mic, it can be up to 14, 15 dB, sometimes, peaks even higher than that. Now, a pop filter is going to be very useful in helping to mark the distance, and it's going to have the added benefit of reducing things such as plosives, the P, the T sounds, and also moisture, when you are singing and you're really up close to the mic, things such as water vapor that's coming out of the mouth, spit, and other gross stuff, can sometimes fly and also get into the microphone. You don't want that to happen. If your mic has a pad switch, engage it. This will usually help to attenuate the signal by, sometimes 10-15 dB, depending on the design. If the vocalist that you're recording, or if you are recording If you are inherently a loud singer, consider using a dynamic mic instead. Some dynamic mics will do the job properly and they're a lot more robust and can handle the high sound pressure levels. Question 2. Can I record vocals with a hardware noise gate? I'm thinking that it will save time spent editing. Will it sound natural? Now, I highly do not recommend recording with a gate. You run the risk of accidentally cutting out parts, right? The starts, the end of words, breaths, things that you want, things that really help with the expression and the emotion of the song. Once these things are lost, once it's gone, there's nothing you can do to fix it except by re-recording the part. That's the only way. So, why run the risk? Okay? Now, if you have to use a gate, use a plugin, use software. Do that during the post-production stage, during the mixing stage. You can automate the parameters, right, to adjust for the different dynamics, right? Different sections of the vocal which may have varying dynamics. You may have to adjust the threshold, you may have to adjust the attack and the release sections differently. There is no one setting, one size fits all solution to this. That's why it gives you much more flexibility if you use a plugin. Honestly though, if you want to achieve the best sounding results, you gotta do this manually, right? You gotta edit manually by hand. Modern DAWs nowadays give you the ability to precisely edit, not only vocals, but a lot of any sort of audio. So please don't be lazy, okay? Just spend the time, put in the effort and pay that attention to the detail, right? To get the best possible end result. Final question 3. I have a vocal track that wasn't recorded with a pop filter, resulting in a few pops. Well, how do I remove these in the mix? Once again, editing and automation are your friends. Now zoom into the offending pop, right? It's very easy to spot, right, in the waveform. Just apply a subtle fade in, right, on that little short section alone. And at the same time, you would want to automate a high pass filter so that it will only affect the low frequency, the pop, and it will leave the rest of the vocal untouched. Right? Automate so that EQ comes in right there and then immediately disengages right after that. Your second option is to use a restoration plugins. So obviously, if you can afford it, if you can buy, there are restoration plugins such as those from the Isotope RX suite, from the Acusonus Era 4 collection of plugins as well. These are very quick and can be an easy way to deal with plosives. I think this is very common, especially if it's in post-production facilities, because sometimes when you're dealing with corporate work, jingles and stuff like that, time is of the essence. So these plugins are around, but obviously, right, you have to spend a little bit of money to buy these plugins. Now, for the most transparent results, okay, personally, I would go towards using spectral editing. So spectral editing is incredibly powerful. It's different from all the traditional methods of audio editing because you are actually able to look at the frequency spectrum and just edit the audio and affect the sound, right? Affect the audio specifically by looking at the spectral content, the frequency content itself. It's incredibly powerful, very transparent. You can also use dynamic EQs or even a multiband compressor. Honestly, sometimes I find you can work, all right, dynamic EQs, but unless it's got a really fast attack and release setting, sometimes I find that it doesn't engage fast enough to get satisfactory results. But sometimes even a combination of the two, right? Use spectral editing, use dynamic EQ, automation, editing. Sometimes a combination of all these methods can probably give you the best results. Everything you do, just do a little bit of subtle addition, and then as a whole, right, you get a much more natural result. There's so many tools nowadays that can help you get out of trouble, right, so to speak. But as I mentioned, again, I've mentioned this before, it's always better, right? Prevention is always better than the cure. Getting it sounding right at the source is always going to be the ideal way, okay? Hopefully, all these tips and little tricks to help you solve commonly faced problems, especially nowadays when it's so common for a lot of singers, a lot of musicians to be recording themselves out at home. There's an interesting topic that I want to do next time, and I'll cover that perhaps in another video. I'll do a video of a checklist, right, of what you should do to prevent these situations. Because for us here inside a professional recording studio, I would have set everything up properly to make sure that when we capture, these sort of problems are going to pop up. But sometimes, in a home studio situation, a home studio environment, things can be a little bit more ad hoc, things can be a little bit more on the fly. So sometimes, things may not be ideally set up, right, the way it should be to ensure that you don't face or you don't encounter these kind of issues during the recording. Alright, so that's all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Please do leave your questions and your feedback down in the comments below. Do you have any of your own tricks or any of your own problems? Sorry, not problems, okay? Do you have any of your own solutions that you do? What's the thing that you like to do to fix these sort of issues? Distortion, whether you encounter noise issues, things such as plosives and excessive low frequency and stuff like that. Let me know down in the comments below, okay? I'd love to hear from you. If you found this video useful and informative, please do leave a like, do share this with your friends. And once again, if you haven't become a subscriber, do click on the subscribe button. That really help the channel out as well. Remember, if you want to support the channel financially, head on down to our Patreon website down below, www.patreon.com/studio2105. I'll see you again in another video real soon. Stay safe, stay happy. All right, happy recording and mixing. Peace, love, and music.